Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for attending. I'm Sarita, Department of Real Estate. Our course started as a distance learning course. It was approved at the end of 2016, and it happened by default. We were basically forced into it. We previously had a block release course all over the country in 4 cities. We used to offer the course in Pretoria, Durban, East London, and Windhoek. And for a variety of reasons, the course was stopped, and we started the distance learning. We were approved for full distance learning course at the end of 2016. So we were literally thrown in at the deep end.
I just want to say to the rest, this is the first ever accredited distance learning program at CPUT. So we had a discussion about distance learning, blended learning from accreditation purposes the other day. So this is the first program at the institution where we actually have HEPC accreditation.
Thank you. Okay, so we were thrown in at the deep end, and all the lecturers, we have 12 subjects, and all the lecturers had to start converting their a course into a distance learning offering. So things had to happen really fast, and luckily we have BLACKBOARD. BLACKBOARD is a very powerful learner management system, and the students in the beginning they were quiet about it. And then after a couple of months, there was an uprising, and they were very unhappy about the situation, and we did a survey, and we had to change the course slightly. So we still now we're teaching out. We do contact sessions all over the country still, but it is a teaching out situation. We also have contact sessions in Cape Town 4 times a year, and we will continue with that. So there will be, every quarter there will be contact sessions in Cape Town. As for the rest, everything is online. It's going very well now after the survey, and as Danala said to me, one of the most important things is managing expectations. So we communicate with them in various ways. I'll show you now as we go through through my screenshots how we communicate with them, and very important that the difference between this and a MOOC is the constantly being in contact with your students, and so far the feedback is very positive. Yes, I work with the e-learning team very closely with Danala and Antoinette and Saki and them. And it is a work in progress. Because we were thrown in at the deep end, it is a work in progress. We make mistakes, but that is part of the learning curve. And then we correct the mistakes and we try something else. But all in all, a very successful experience so far. So to start with, the first thing we did was to design so this is just the home page on BLACKBOARD, was to design the course, all the different subjects, that the students, in such a way that the students, when they log into the different subjects, that they are very similar, the layout is similar, they know what to expect. And they know what to expect. Whatever they open, they find what they will find in the one subject, they will more or less find in the other subjects. So under the content, we were divided into general, their tests and exams, their different assignments, what we see as essential reading, sometimes download a PDF or an active link, also links to websites. And then the webinar sessions. I'll go into more detail about that shortly. And then the different units. Under the different units, they will also find their subject guide. The subject guide they will find in the beginning already under general. their subject guide. I'll take you through Respondus Lockdown Browser shortly. They get instructions to use that, their year planner, who we are, details on us. And then I've got an active document, an active sheet, a Google sheet, an active Google sheet for their contact details, and then details of the contact sessions, Cape Town and otherwise, and then feedback and evaluation. So that is what they would expect under each of these subjects. Then under their units, the different units in these subjects, they will have their learning outcomes, PowerPoints of their lessons, class videos. My class videos, last year I recorded every single class in Cape Town with the lecture screen live, put it through Format Factory, and then put it on Blackboard for them. So under every unit they will find class recordings, not of all the subjects, but of my subjects in particular, of every class that has taken place in Cape Town the previous year. And then also any other interesting videos I would put up there for them. Revision tests. After every chapter, I would post an online revision test for them, and then any other essential reading for that subject. And then once again, the links to the relevant websites I put on there for them. Then talking about the screenshot recordings, I recorded all the classes in Cape Town the previous year and posted it on Blackboard for them. I use Elector Screen Live, and then I reduce it with Format Factory. So Format Factory reduces the size of the screenshot by about 5 times. And what I also do is I would record it in short shots. It will literally not be more than 15 minutes, and I would stop and then a new recording. So they're short little recordings, and what some of my students told me they find very handy, because they are mostly valuers. Our course is very much aimed at property valuers, and they would be on the road, maybe stop at a coffee shop. They can listen to the recording on their phone. So they found that very handy. Okay, so that is the screenshot. Then what we also do, Danella, it seems as if the PowerPoint is dropping off the sides. So what we're doing also is our Cape Town contact sessions. We video record all the Cape Town contact sessions, and that gets put on Blackboard for the students as well. They find that the feedback on the video recordings is excellent. They say because especially with the more quantitative subjects, if a calculation is explained, they can watch it over and over again. So they find those very handy, and we will continue with the video recordings of the Cape Town contact sessions. There's what, let me just see. Okay, this is, and it's uploaded under, it's a private link on YouTube. So they can just go on, click on the private link, and it takes them to YouTube, to that private playlist. Just see where that comes up now. Not responding. Oh, there we are. Okay, so that's a private. It's a private link, and they can go. They can click on any subject. It's divided into part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, how many sessions there was this morning, and that is there for them to go back to as often as they want to. Okay, so those are the video recordings. Yeah, so it's a private YouTube link. We communicate with them on various platforms. The most common one being announcements on Blackboard, and also the new tool Quickly. And I've taught our admin assistants to use that, so lecturers can just give the admin assistant a message and to put on Blackboard. She goes onto the Quickly tool and places it on the relevant subjects with links to certain things. Okay, so that works very well. Announcements on Blackboard. Students know that they have to watch their announcements on a regular basis. And then the next one is discussion boards, which is interactive, of course. So the students can chat to the lecturer and also to the rest of the students enrolled for that course. So here there were students looking for a group to work with on their assignment, and she just said, anyone in Pretoria, if you want to join a group, get in touch with me. So that is a very nice interactive tool. Lecturers are supposed to log in and watch the discussions and partake at least every 48 hours. And students, but the students there communicate more amongst themselves, we find. So they quite enjoy that. Then we have started doing the Blackboard Collaborate webinars, and Danella was very crucial in starting that. So we've posted for them how to do the Blackboard Collaborate webinars. We've only had our first one now. So as I said, this course is it's a work in progress. So we've had our first one, and we've got a few planned for next term. So we've got a schedule there for next term. So let me just see whether this link works.
The important tools you need to foster a collaborative online learning experience are organized neatly within the Collaborate with the Ultra Experience user interface. This video was designed to give you a quick tour of all the important features and controls in the user interface. Depending on your role, participant or moderator, slightly different options may be present in the interface.
This video was designed
Note
to
that
give
the
you a quick
interface
tour of
controls
all the
are
important
organized in
features
two
and
separate
controls in the
areas.
user interface.
The session menu on the
Depending
left
on your
side
role, participant
and the
or
Collaborate
moderator,
panel on the right
slightly
side.
different options may be present in the
First,
interface.
let's take a look at the Collaborate panel.
Note that the interface controls are
The first
organized
time
in
you
two
access a
separate
session
areas.
as a moderator,
The session
you will
menu
want
on
to
the left
access
side
the Settings panel to
and the
configure
Collaborate
your
panel on
audio,
the right
video,
side.
chat, and whiteboard settings
First,
for all your
let's take a look at the
participants.
Collaborate panel.
Once
The
participants
first time
join
you
the session,
access a
welcome
session
them
as a
using the chat
moderator,
function.
you will want to access the Settings panel to configure your audio, video, chat, and whiteboard settings for all your participants.
You can also access the participant list
Once
to see who
participants
has
join
joined
the
your
session,
session,
welcome them using the
or
chat
share
function.
content from this area, which we'll talk about in just a bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the options in the
You can
session
also
menu
access
on the
the
left side of the
participant list
interface.
to see who has joined your session,
While the Collaborate
or share
panel
content
controls
from
all the
this area,
collaboration
which we'll
tools
talk
you will
about
need
in
to
just a
engage
bit.
participants during the session,
Let's go ahead
the
and take a
session
look at
menu
some
on
of
the
the
left
options
was
in the
designed to
session
give you
menu
control
on the
over the
left side of the
technical options
interface.
for your own Collaborate session.
While the Collaborate
Here
panel
you will find
controls all the
settings to record a
collaboration
session,
tools you will need
set
to
up a
engage
session so that
participants during the
participants can
session,
call in on their phone,
the session menu
report
on
an
the
issue,
left was
get
designed
help,
to give
or
you
learn
control
more
over
about
the
using
technical
Collaborate with
options
the
for your
Ultra
own Collaborate
experience.
session. Here you will
In the
find
middle of the
settings to
screen,
record a
you will
session,
notice what's
set
commonly
up a
called the
session so
media
that
space.
participants can call in on their phone,
Currently, you see
report
student
an
avatars
issue,
in the media
get help,
space,
or learn
and
more about
students
using
raising their
Collaborate
hands
with
and
the
asking the
Ultra
moderator
experience.
questions using the chat function.
In the middle of the screen, you will notice what's commonly called the media space.
Individual
Currently, you
user
see student
settings for
avatars in the
participants
media
are
space,
accessed from the
and
Collaborate
students raising
panel.
their hands and asking the
Once a
moderator
participant is
questions using the
selected, you
chat
can make them
function.
a moderator, a presenter, a closed captioner, remove them from your session, or mute
Individual
audio.
user settings for participants
Additionally,
are accessed
you
from
have
the
the
Collaborate
option to
panel.
mute all participants.
Once a participant is selected, you can make them a moderator, a presenter, a closed captioner, remove them from your session,
Back
or
in the
mute
media
audio.
space, a participant has
Additionally,
enabled
you
live
have the
video
option
sharing,
to mute all
and the moderator
participants.
begins sharing content with the session participants. To share content, an application,
Back in the
or the
media
whiteboard,
space, a
or
participant
access
has
any of the
enabled
other
live
great
video
collaboration
sharing,
tools like
and the
polling,
moderator begins sharing
simply
content
access the
with the session
Collaborate panel
participants.
and click the Share Content button.
To
In
share
the current
content,
example,
an
the
application,
moderator has
or the
chosen to share a
whiteboard, or
presentation and
access
poll the
any of the other
participants
great
about a
collaboration
particular
tools like
question on the
polling,
slide.
simply access
After
the
the results
Collaborate
of the poll
panel
come
and
in,
click the Share
you can share
Content
the
button.
results with the participants,
In the current
or you
example,
can end the
the
poll.
moderator has chosen to share a presentation and poll the
And that's
participants
it.
about
You're
a
ready to
particular
jump in and
question on
start
the slide.
collaborating.
After the results of the poll come in, you can share the results with the participants,
Right.
or you can end
Especially
the poll.
whiteboard is going to be a wonderful
And that's
tool
it.
for
You're ready to jump
some of
in
the
and
more
start
quantitative
collaborating.
subjects. Okay, so if we continue with Okay, so these are, I'm not going to play that link. I think that
in this clip, we will show you how to access and use the CPUT Libraries Catalog to search for books, audiovisual, and many other resources in the library. Access the CPUT Libraries website, and from there, click on Catalog. It will open on the basic search screen. But before we start, have a look at the search hints at the bottom of the screen, as these will help you to get the best results. So let's start with our keywords. For this example today, we will be looking for project management.
Okay, then a further platform to support
Field to
is
search.
a Facebook
We are going to use the all fields, but you have different options available to you depending on the information you have available and what you are looking for.
600 students. And then
Words adjacent, no or yes. This is described as one of the first hints, and what it means is that you can type in the phrase, for example, computer programming, and the system will understand that you want only records that have the word computer next to the word programming, or you can leave them unticked. Base to search. Of course, we want to search the catalogue of the Cape Peninsula University of Technology.
So those are the groups. And then another great tool on Blackboard is that people have access to our library, and we of course have an excellent library, and they can go in, and there are also instructions for them about how to use the library. There's a new information literacy course, and it tells them how to use the library.
If you're watching this, you're probably required to use Respondus Lockdown Browser for an online exam. Lockdown Browser is a different kind of browser. While taking an exam,
in this clip, we will show you how to access and use the CPUT Libraries Catalog to search for books, audiovisual, and many other resources in the library. Access the CPUT Libraries website, and from there, click on Catalog. It will open on the basic search screen. But before we start, have a look at the search hints at the bottom of the screen, as these will help you to get the best results. So let's start with our keywords. For this example today, we will be looking for project management.
The outside world. You can close those
Field
applications
to
yourself.
search. We are going to use the all fields, but you have different options available to you depending on the information you have available and what you are looking for. Words adjacent, no or yes. This is described as one of the first hints, and what it means is that you can type in the phrase, for example, computer programming, and the system will understand that you want only records that have the word computer next to the word programming, or you can leave them unticked. Base to search. Of course, we want to search the catalogue of the Cape Peninsula University of Technology.
From the other side of the world. Plus, you can take exams at any time of the day or
nice
night.
YouTubes on different aspects of the library site. And also, in addition to the YouTube's infographics, which explains exactly how things work in the library. Excellent.
Before the exam starts, you'll be guided through a check to make sure your webcam is running properly. Additional steps might also be required by your instructor, such as showing your
sometimes
ID
to
or
look at
taking a
students
video of
say
your surrounding
they
area.
did not
Once the exam
they did
starts,
poorly in their
don't
test.
give
The
the
one
webcam
student
another
recently
thought.
said to me,
Just focus
I
on
want
that
to
test
cry,
you
I
stayed
did
up
so
all
poorly
night
in
studying
my
for.
in
When the
my
exam is finished
in my
and you
June
submit it
test.
for grading,
And so
the
I
webcam will
drew
shut
a
off
report.
automatically.
I said,
That's pretty much
okay,
it.
student,
Now, take a deep breath.
let's look at a course overview. Let's see how often you have visited Blackboard. And I drew it for, I pulled a report for the past month. It's not this student, this is one of the, this is the total overview of the course, okay? And then it gives you the student overview. So it shows you how often your students logged in. So it's also quite interesting to see, my students mostly log in on a Monday in this course. And then you can see how long each student spent in the course. If you click on that link for that student, it gives you an overview of when that student went in, which days, how long they spent, and then also at which item in the course they actually spent time on. So it's very interesting to pull a report if a student tells you they didn't do very well in their test, and then you say, but you know, I'm not surprised because in the previous month you spent half an hour in total and you didn't even visit any of the revision tests that I posted, so I'm not surprised that you didn't do all that well. So that is it's a very nice tool. Then you can also do Blackboard Analytics on your course versus the other courses in your unit. You can see how often the course was accessed and various other things. I'm not going to go into detail with that, but it's interesting analytics to look at. And also your students. You can see here the course access, how often they interacted, their submissions, and their score, how it compares with the rest. So you can do very interesting analytics. Then the retention center, you can set up certain rules. Once again, I don't have time to go into details. You can set up certain rules, and you can look at which students are at risk, and you can actually contact them early in the course to see you know, you send a message to them. You see, I see you are underperforming or you are not accessing Blackboard often. Is there a problem? Can we assist? So that is it's a great tool, the retention center. Would be very difficult to do these things manually, but if you've got it electronically, it's amazing. Then the assignments. So we tell they have various assignments in our course, and you post the assignments on Blackboard and they submit electronically. Also give them detailed instructions as to how to submit an assignment. Okay, once again, I'm not going to finish the YouTube. You get the idea. They get instructions, video instructions, and then they submit the assignment, browse my computer. It's the same principle as sending an email. I also like setting group assignments, and then there are certain functions that I give them to share. They've got a discussion board, they can share email, and they can do file exchange. Unfortunately, they think file exchange is exchanging the file with me, and then I don't get it, but meantime they've exchanged the file with the rest of the group. And 3 years later, I still have no success with that. They share the file, and then they're very, very disappointed that I don't give them feedback. Anyway, I mark it according to an interactive rubric, so they can see exactly where they got their marks or not. My colleagues also do it. This is one of the more quantitative subjects, and he marks it manually and gives feedback on the side, same as with Google. It's the same with Google Docs, huh? And I just find it slightly friendlier. I know other people find Google Docs friendlier. I find this a bit friendlier. Okay, then I give them feedback at the end of the assignment and they mark, and they can go and look at the rubric. Right, there is how to set assessments. Here we're going to look at Lockdown Browser. We've just had yesterday we were actually told that we've got all the monitors have been purchased, and it is in place, so we can do a full lockdown browser with monitor exam for certain students. We're not going to do it for all our students at the end of the year. It's going to be the final summative exam is going to be in a venue, but there are certain students who have requested to do the online assessment, the online summative assessment, and that will be done with a monitor, lockdown browser and monitor. People who live very far away and maybe are pregnant or maybe, some other problem. So the option is there. So I'll just show you how that works now. Lockdown browser. So lockdown browser, there are instructions for them to install lockdown browser, and then you can see also here how it works.
If you're watching this, you're probably required to use Respondus Lockdown Browser for an online exam. Lockdown Browser is a different kind of browser. While taking an exam, you can't print, use other applications, visit other websites, you can't even search the internet for answers. I know, it takes all the fun out of online tests. But here's the good thing. Your classmates can't do those things either, so it's just your brain against their brain. A level playing field. Your instructor will provide a link for downloading and installing Lockdown Browser. When you start it, Lockdown Browser might warn you that certain applications have to be shut down before you continue, like screen capture programs, instant messaging, Skype, pretty much anything that lets you communicate with the outside world. You can close those applications yourself or let Lockdown Browser do it for you. The browser will then go to the login page for your online course. Log in like you normally do and locate the exam that requires Lockdown Browser. Remember, after the exam starts, you won't be able to do other things on your computer until you finish the exam. When you're done, just exit Lockdown Browser and you'll be all set. Your instructor might also require you to use a webcam with Lockdown Browser. This part is sometimes called Respondus Monitor, but just think of it as a webcam for Lockdown Browser. The nice thing about the webcam feature is that it lets you take exams from the comfort of your own home or from the other side of the world. Plus, you can take exams at any time of the day or night. The webcam will record what happens during the exam, and the instructor can review it afterward. So, if an exam requires you to use Lockdown Browser and a webcam, just start Lockdown Browser and locate the exam. Before the exam starts, you'll be guided through a check to make sure your webcam is running properly. Additional steps might also be required by your instructor, such as showing your ID or taking a video of your surrounding area. Once the exam starts, don't give the webcam another thought. Just focus on that test you stayed up all night studying for. When the exam is finished and you submit it for grading, the webcam will shut off automatically. That's pretty much it. Now, take a deep breath and good luck.
Okay, right. Okay, we do, I post regular revision tests as well. For that, I don't need the lockdown browser. With the multiple choice questions that I post for them that they use when they do the lockdown tests, very nice, the different settings that you can do, all the different settings that you can use. You can also do it on adaptive release. Sometimes there are students who could not make the original test and they do a SIG test, and because I scramble my multiple choice questions, I can pretty much use the same multiple choice question for an adaptive release. They can even sit two next to each other. I tell them, open book, sit next to each other, as long as you don't talk. But the tests are completely different because it's scrambled. I scramble the questions, and then within the questions I also scramble the answers. So there will be 100 people sitting, and each will get a different test in a different sequence. This was an adaptive release I did. Okay. Then I also set the tests so that they see the results. I also set the time that they can see the results. I always go through all the tests to just check that everything was all right, and I just mark the negatives. So I set it that I don't set it for after submission. I usually give it a couple of days and to make sure that I've gone through all the tests to double check everything, and then they can see the memo. Then they can see all their questions. Okay, so on the grade center, while the students are busy writing, you know that's the most welcoming sign that you always see. If you've set your test for 10 o'clock, if that little blue clock goes on. If it doesn't go on, then all 6 phones in the department start ringing immediately, and then you know there's something wrong with your setting, or CTS, or the CTS link disappeared. So, and it has happened where 300 students were writing a test, and there was no CTS link. And I walked into my office at 7:30 in the morning, and all the phones in the department were ringing already because the link was disabled. Anyway, so we'll talk about that later. So then when the student is busy with his test, he can also see his test progress. He can see where he is in his test. And you can see on this one a little error happened where it said save and submit to save and submit and whatever. And there was something strange with Chrome. So now, although we all work, most of us work with Chrome, they have to log in with Mozilla now or with Internet Explorer 11 because that funny ghost script appears now with Chrome. But hopefully that will be solved soon. That's since the latest Blackboard upgrade. So little glitches. Then when they're finished with their test, it actually tells them how many were incomplete. So then they can go back to those questions. Okay, then when they have now submitted and I mark it, I just look at the negatives. So I don't look at the correct questions, I just look at the negatives and I make sure that it wasn't maybe a spelling error or just a space in the wrong, because they're little, sometimes small essay questions and you know, and I just go through the negatives. So it's very quick marking. And then you can also analyze your multiple choice questions. You can go and analyze it to see whether once they've answered a multiple choice test, you can go and analyze it to see whether it was too easy, too difficult, which questions, but this will explain it.
Item analysis measures the effectiveness of your test questions, letting you see quickly which questions might need revision. This tutorial shows you how to access and run item analysis, view test level and question level statistics, and edit a test question. Item analysis is available for deployed tests only. You can access item analysis in a few locations. From a test deployed in a content area, the test page, or a grade center column. Select item analysis. Now you can select the test to run an item analysis for. Only deployed tests are listed. Click Run. Access the report by clicking the link in the status bar or the new link under Available Analysis. The item analysis page contains summary statistics for the test as a whole, as well as statistics for individual questions. The test summary provides a snapshot of the test. It shows how many attempts are still in progress or complete, and average completion time. You can see how many questions are good, fair, and poor discriminators of student performance. For example, a question is a good discriminator when students who answer the question correctly also score well on the entire test. You can see how many questions in the test were easy, medium, or hard. A question's difficulty value is the percentage of students that answered it correctly. Further down the page, each question and its statistics are listed. Questions you might need to investigate are indicated with red dots. These questions have easy or hard difficulty values or poor discrimination values. Symbols indicate if the question changed after the test was deployed, which might affect your analysis. An asterisk tells you that the statistics do not include ungraded submissions. Let's investigate a question that is recommended for review.
Okay, you've got that. Rightio. Okay, and so that is the end. I thank you very much, but as I said earlier, we have some problems, and a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And CTS, we've got some problems with CTS. We've got some problems with the registration procedure, and data is expensive. So, you know, but we're working on all these things. Thank you very much.
Sarita.
Thank you.
Mariana has given me some indication that we should rather leave soon.
Yeah, that looks like whether the students are heading to the admin building.